Good morning, scholars. Happy Thursday. Today we're going to talk about warm or cold-blooded animals. By the end of the lesson, you will turn in Thursday, October 8th, ELA. Today we'll start with a quick prefix introduction. We'll have a read aloud, chapter 4, and then you'll have your exit ticket. So, we have been working with these spelling words this week, and a reminder that all of our spelling words this week are root words. They're verbs. At the beginning of the week, we practiced adding suffixes to these words at the end. It changed the meaning of the verb. Today, we are going to look at prefixes. And a prefix is a syllable placed in front of a root word. Prefixes change the meaning of the root word. So unlike suffixes, prefixes come at the beginning of the word, not at the end. So we're modifying a word by putting another syllable in front of that root word. Today we're going to look at the prefixes un and non. You might already be able to guess, but these prefixes mean not. So if I had the word safe, that usually means protected from harm. But if I add the prefix un to it, that becomes not safe, not protected from harm. The word living on its own means alive. But if I put the word non-living in front of it, it means not alive. So un and non both mean not. This means words like unable mean not able, non-living, not living, unnecessary, not necessary, non-absorbent, not absorbent, uneven, not even, nonverbal, not verbal. It changes the meaning of the root word to mean not that root word. So if we were to fill in these sentences, Dad stayed up late working on a presentation and felt blank this morning. We could say unwell. He doesn't feel well. The baby bird hesitated and looked blank about flying from the tree branch to the ground. We could say unsure. He wasn't sure. And then finally, it is blank to cross the street without first looking both ways. That would be unsafe, not safe. So as you can see, prefixes change the meaning of our root word. Now we're going to go ahead and transition into discussing warm-blooded and cold-blooded animals. Some vocabulary that you need to know to be successful in this read aloud is cold-blooded. Say it, cold-blooded. And that's having a body temperature that changes with the temperature of the environment. You also need to know warm-blooded. Say it, warm-blooded. And that means being able to control your internal body temperature by making heat within the body and having ways to cool the body down when needed. Before we start our read aloud, I want to go over main idea. This is probably not a new concept for you, but you might need a refresher. So the main idea is what the text is mainly about or mostly about. You can use clues to help you find the main idea. So look at the title, look at pictures and captions, check the first and last sentence, and notice words that are repeatedly used. Supporting details are details that support the main idea. Clues to helping you find these, you can find facts that tell you more about the main idea and details that tell you more about the main idea. So during today's read aloud, listen for the main idea. But first, let's practice. Let's try guessing the main idea. I am a vertebrate. I swim in fresh water and salt water. I move around using my fins, breathe oxygen, and breathe oxygen through my gills underwater. What could be the main idea? Fish. We're talking about fish. These are all supporting details that describe fish. Number 2. I am an invertebrate. I have a red shell with black spots. I sometimes find my way into your house. What could the main idea be? Ladybugs. So ladybugs have the red shell with black spots, and they are invertebrates. Last one. I am a vertebrate. I slither along the ground and climb up trees. I have a pair of ribs attached to my vertebra. What could the main idea be? Snakes. So these are all supporting details that describe snakes. So let's get started with our read aloud. When I point it out, I want you to be listening for the main idea. Today, we're going to look at animals, some of whom are cold-blooded animals and some of whom are warm-blooded animals. By the sound of it, you would think that warm-blooded animals have warm blood and cold-blooded animals have cold blood, but this is not the case. The body temperature of a cold-blooded animal changes according to the surroundings or environment of that animal, whereas a warm-blooded animal maintains about the same temperature all of the time. Have you ever used a thermometer? Perhaps when you are sick, your parents or a nurse might measure your temperature with a thermometer. When warm-blooded people get ill, their temperatures often rise or go up. A person's normal body temperature is about 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and it remains constant or about the same most of the time. The way in which an animal's body temperature is controlled determines whether it is a cold-blooded or warm-blooded animal. Cold-blooded animals' internal or inside body temperature is never constant. It does not stay the same. They cannot heat their bodies from the inside like us, so their temperature must change with their surroundings in order for their bodies to work properly. They become hot when it is hot around them and cold when it is cold around them. Go ahead and listen for the main idea in this paragraph. Piranhas are cold-blooded fish. However, they are vertebrates just like us. So you see, although we are both vertebrates, we also have differences. Piranhas are cold-blooded and we are warm-blooded. Most fish are cold-blooded. In fact, most animals on Earth are cold-blooded. So what is the main idea in this paragraph? The main idea is that vertebrates are warm and cold-blooded. Fish, reptiles, amphibians, these are the three groups of cold-blooded creatures. Their body temperatures change depending upon where they are, becoming warm when their surroundings are warm and cold when it's cold around them. Because they do not have constant body temperatures, they can easily become too hot or too cold. They have developed characteristics and behaviors so that they can live in certain habitats. What's the main idea? Fish, reptiles, and amphibians are all cold-blooded. So what groups of animals did you hear about that are cold-blooded? Fish, amphibians, and reptiles. What group of animals did you hear about that are warm-blooded? Birds and mammals. We're mammals. What do we mean when we say an animal is warm-blooded? We mean that it regulates its body temperature internally to keep a constant internal temperature all the time. So I'm going to hand it over to Rattenborough now for Chapter 4. Listen close.
Chapter 4. Warm-blooded and cold-blooded animals. Rattenborough here again. In Chapter 2, you learned how scientists classify living things into one group called kingdoms. You learned about the animal and plant kingdoms. You also learned that animals and other living things are classified into more specific groups. Today, you will learn more about the animal kingdom. You will learn that there are many kinds of animals that have different characteristics. Scientists study these different characteristics to divide the animal kingdom into more specific groups. Many animals, such as cats, mice, rats, cows, elephants, tigers, and even people, belong to a group called mammals. So you and I are mammals. All mammals have hair, but some have more hair or fur than others. You have to get pretty close to an elephant to see its hair, but it is a mammal. Another characteristic of mammals is that they give birth to live babies. Mammal babies begin breathing, moving, and looking for food as soon as they are born. Mammal mothers make milk to feed their newborns. This is another key characteristic of all mammals. Do you think this crocodile is a mammal? Answer: no! Why not? Crocodiles have scales, not hair or fur. Crocodiles lay eggs, and baby crocodiles hatch from those eggs. A baby crocodile does not get milk from its mother. Its first meal might be a bug. Later, he'll eat bigger animals. Crocodiles belong to a different group of animals called reptiles, along with snakes, lizards, and turtles. Scientists also classify animals as mammals or reptiles based on how the animals control their body temperature. All animals need to keep a constant temperature inside their bodies for their bodies to work properly. If an animal gets too hot or too cold, its body will not work the way it should. An animal may become sick or even die. Mammals are warm-blooded animals. When warm-blooded animals are in a cold place, they use energy from food they eat to help keep their bodies warm. Some warm-blooded animals shiver to keep warm. When they shiver, their bodies make heat to keep warm. When warm-blooded animals are somewhere hot, their bodies react in a different way to cool off. Some warm-blooded animals, like people, sweat to stay cool. Dogs pant to stay cool. Other warm-blooded animals drink lots of water as a way to cool off. Did you know that cows need to drink almost a bathtub full of water a day? Warm-blooded animals act in different ways to maintain a constant temperature inside their bodies. Mammals can live in habitats with different temperatures because their bodies do not rely on the environment. Warm-blooded animals, like mammals, must eat often to make energy to heat or cool their bodies. Most warm-blooded animals need to eat every day. Some need to eat every hour. Reptiles are cold-blooded animals. The body temperature of cold-blooded animals changes depending on the outside temperature. They become hot when it is hot outside and cold when it is cold outside. But cold-blooded animals must also keep a constant temperature for their bodies to work properly. Cold-blooded animals do not use energy from their bodies to stay warm or cool. Instead, they use what is around them to keep warm or keep cool. Crocodiles stay in water or mud in order to stay cool on hot days. If they need to warm up on cooler days, they bask in the sun. While warm-blooded animals can live in just about any habitat, cold-blooded animals can only live in certain habitats. Cold-blooded animals do not need to eat as often as warm-blooded animals. This is because they do not need lots of food to make energy to warm or cool their bodies. Most crocodiles only eat once a week, but they can live for months and sometimes years without eating.
Before we move on, let's reread a short portion to discover the main idea. If you look at this page, you might already be able to guess what the main idea is because there's a picture. I think looking at this page, you can see the main idea, and we're looking at the one on the right, is crocodiles. Let's look closely for some supporting details about crocodiles. It says crocodiles have scales, they lay eggs, they do not get milk from their mother, they might eat bugs or bigger animals. They are reptiles. So those are our supporting details. They have scales, lay eggs, babies do not get milk from their mother. Now you're going to do this on your own. In your exit ticket today, you are working with the main idea Google form. In your Google form, I've given you a couple paragraphs from today's chapter. Read it and then answer the question, what is the main idea of this passage? and list one supporting detail for this main idea. I'll read the passage to you if you want to follow along while you get your Google form open. It says, many animals, such as cats, mice, rats, cows, elephants, tigers, and even people, belong to a group called mammals. So you and I are mammals. All mammals have hair, but some have more hair or fur than others. You have to get pretty close to an elephant to see its hair, but it's a mammal. Another characteristic of mammals is that they give birth to live babies. Mammal babies begin breathing, moving, and looking for food as soon as they are born. Mammal mothers make milk to feed their newborns. This is another key characteristic of all mammals. So go ahead and complete that form, decide which of those 3 statements is the main idea, and then go back through the passage to find at least one supporting detail for that main idea. When you're done, don't forget to turn it in. You also can practice your spelling words in today's assignment link. It's the same document that I posted all week, and it has that practice test in it. And that's it for today. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call or text me. Have a great rest of your Thursday.